Meantime, the Department of Homeland Security sent us a statement today saying, in part, ICE administratively arrested two individuals. Both entered the U.S. near Yuma, Arizona in March of 2022. The statement goes on to say they will now remain in custody pending the completion of removal proceedings. DHS agencies will not be deterred from the completion of our mission. And for more context on the raids and what happens after someone gets detained, we're bringing in Consul General of Mexico, Carlos Gonzalez. Consul, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Annabelle. Thank you for inviting me.
Consul, we're hearing the number of Mexican people recently detained in our area is now 77. Now, these are people you've interviewed, correct?
Exactly. There might be more, but those are the ones that we have interviewed.
Consul, how often are you going to the detention centers, and what have you been seeing lately?
Every day we visit those detention centers. Usually on a normal day, we visit twice the LA detention center, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. However, it's been closed since June 6th, more or less at 8 p.m. And all people who were Mexican nationals who were detained there were transferred to Adelanto, which is an hour away from San Bernardino and Santana. What I have seen is that all these centers are operating almost at capacity. And I have seen also that because there's so much people that ICE has a backlog in terms of registering new detainees in their ICE locator. So sometimes someone is detained now and it is not registered until 24, 48, or even 72 hours later.
You know, and speaking of that, Consul, one of the biggest concerns many are having is not knowing if a family member was detained. Is there any way of knowing if they were or weren't?
Yes, of course. If they are Mexican nationals, they can contact us. We visit every detention center every day. We interview them and we check for three things. One, their conditions of the detention center, whether they are receiving their food, their water, that they have appropriate clothing. Secondly, we get information about their relatives and loved ones so that we could contact them. And thirdly, we make sure that they have legal advice, legal representation. If they don't have already, we provide with one. Our priority number one is those who want to fight their removal proceedings, those who want their day in court, that they have the opportunity to do so. And the first step is to secure bail so that they could continue their process in freedom.
Consul, is there a phone number that they could use, that they could contact, whether it be a person who's been detained or a family member, to find out if they have been detained?
Yes, the best number is the CIAM, Centro de Información y Asistencia Mexicanos, the Center for Information and Assistance to Mexican Nationals. And the number is 520, that's the area code, 520-623-7874, 520-623-7874. It works 24 hours, 7 days a week. And it doesn't matter where your loved one is detained. This is connected to the whole network of 53 consular offices that Mexico has in the United States.
Consul, these raids, and just because we have a little bit of time remaining here, these raids are having a domino effect. As you know, many aren't showing up to work and for doctor's appointments, etc. What's the advice you have for them?
Well, that they have to get prepared. They have to face reality. Things have changed and they have to prepare for the worst. But at the same time, they should not allow themselves for their lives to be conducted by fear. Panic is a great paralyzer. They should get legal information in order to take the best informed possible decisions. They should get financial education information so they can manage their money remotely in case they need to. They should get all their documents, their ID documents and their travel documents updated for them and their children. But at the same time, they have to remain calm. They have to not allow for fear and panic to be the guides of their lives on a daily basis.
All right, Consul General of Mexico, Carlos Gonzalez, thank you very much for your time, Consul.
My pleasure.